MrSlickins, and we can have a look at our beautiful casters for today. Because with me, I have none other than Mr. GreenSpirit from Germany. Hello, GreenSpirit. Welcome to the cast. How are you?
Hello, guys. Thanks, Penny. I'm doing fine. I'm really looking forward to cast those games. I hope they will be spicy.
Absolutely, dude. The January Nova Cup I thought was a hell of a lot of fun, and I'm really glad to see that it's going to be a continual monthly thing now. This month's tournament actually sponsored by Nexus.gg, who have doubled the total prize pool available, so that's pretty pog as well. There's some serious money up for grabs, especially in Division 1.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I also really like that there's something to grab for place 2, since I managed
you got
to
second
do. Yeah. Exactly.
The prizes, they're not retrospective, unfortunately, Green, so you get nothing for January.
Yeah, that's true, but I really like that change.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to say, by the way, Green, that you're just looking simply splendid today, fam. I really like your hoodie and hat combo. They suit you, dude.
Thanks a lot, fam. Like, I really put myself out there and put on my best outfit that I could find to represent the community as good as I can.
Yeah,
because I think
most
people. Yeah, I think most people in the community can also really identify with me.
Oh, for sure, dude. I mean, you look really well as well. Like, you look a lot more. You look a lot happier than you did last time I saw you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I can imagine.
So, Green, I thought for today, the first game we would hop into is going to be Drachir and Slickins versus Bonny and Basti. What do you think about that matchup?
Oh, that's quite an interesting one.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one. I mean, obviously I would see Bonny and Basti more favored because they are a more known team and have more experience, but maybe we'll see a surprise.
I mean, they have got more tournament experience for sure, but just on the strength of this season, I think Drachir and Slickins have to be favoured, no? They've certainly played a lot more this season, and Bonny and Basti are just kind of washed up, yesterday's news.
Well, if you put it this way, I mean, Bonny plays around the level of a Platin player.
Yeah,
and
he's obviously hard carried by Basti, who is by far the stronger half of BSquared.
Absolutely.
I just don't know if Basti's going to be able to carry the weight of both players today, because Drachir and Slickins are decent players in their own right. And I think this one's really interesting, actually, because like you say, Bonny and Basti, they're old school players. They've been in Legion from like day one. They've been involved in every tournament. They've got a couple of wins and second places and all the rest of it. And Drachir and Slickins, they're both like brand new players, right? They started playing within the last 6 months, certainly like post full release. But they've climbed really, really quickly, and like these guys are in like my games, your games all the time, and
they're kind of like I was 1 season ago. Like they're the new blood. They're
the rising stars, exactly.
Like I'm part of the boomers already now.
They're
coming to take my place. Yeah, exactly. I can see that. I think what it also comes down to is if Drachir is able to convince MrSlickins to not play Fiesta.
Yeah, that'll be a big one.
I think that already might give them the edge over Bonny and Basti.
I mean, for sure. It'd be interesting to see what Bonny and Basti decide to play as well. Like, are they just going to go boring redraw and greed? I think they might.
I think Bonny is incapable of playing anything else. Like I mean, physically, if he locks in any other thing, he might get a stroke.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously true, right?
Yeah, obviously true.
Hold on. You take over talking rubbish for a second? I just need to...
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Well, it's gonna be interesting because it's kind of a similar setup for those players. I think they are less flexible than some other teams because we will have this slightly enabler and scaler setup on both sides. Since Basti is more of an enabler and Bonny is more of a carry in their team, and on the other side Drachir is more of an enabler normally, and MrSlickins is more the carry player. So if both teams are not as flexible, I think
Hi.
sending
Are
order
you
is
live
going to be
already?
a very big factor in those games. So if the enabler is sending on the carry player of the other team, it's going to be a decent advantage for that team.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. That's a really good point, actually. And this is like we're at the highest level of the games, which is what we're watching now, because all of our games are going to be Division 1. Stuff like send order really becomes important, doesn't it? Because you want your enabler
Absolutely.
to send into the carry player of the enemy team.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a very decent advantage. And should we get more into detail why that is?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the thing is, the enabler can, first of all, give more room to the carry player on your team. And the biggest advantage is that in the late game, he can suicide on the carry player in the enemy team, while your carry player has enough pressure to break the enabler anyway. So you have the better setup for the killing blow, because the carry player can't suicide on your carry player, because then nobody is going to be holding in the enemy team.
Yeah, exactly. And it looks like, yeah, so they picked up on that exactly as you said, and Drachir and Slickins have decided that Slickins will send into Basti, which means that he'll be receiving Bonny sends. So they've already lined themselves up in game number 1 exactly the way that you've described, with the enabler sending into the carry of BSquared and the carry receiving from the carry. So they do have the favourable send order already in game 1, and we'll just have to see if they can take that one to a victory.
I see. Yeah, I joined the lobby now too. Yeah. So you were saying this is the preferred sending order for which team? The way they're lined up now?
Yes, with Drachir sending into Bonny and Slickins sending into Basti. Yes.
Yes, this is the proof. This is the better lineup for Drachir and Slickins, I think.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Yeah. Now I can read the chat. They have position priority, and they picked it this way because they realized this is better for them.
Exactly. I mean, they've read that perfectly. Like, it's exactly the way that we were describing, or you were describing, I should say, while I was trying to sort out some broadcast things in the background. But they know that this is going to give them the advantage, and they've seized that. So that's a really good start already from Slickins and Drachir. It means that not only are they solid players, which is obvious by the fact that they climbed so high so quickly, but they understand kind of the tournament dynamics as well, which is something that you don't necessarily learn on ladder, right? The tournament it kind of brings a new level to the game, and all of these mind games and send order and things become that much more important. But they've understood that, which is great.
Yeah, I think you get a grasp of it if you're playing at the very top of the ladder, if you are more about game sense in your play style.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's more visible in tournament play for certain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And well, you actually have the choice as well. So the fact that they've seen that option, they've seized it, is just great. And as we were saying earlier, before we went off on a massive tangent about send order, I think this matchup is a really interesting one, just in terms of the community, because it really is like old school versus.
Yeah, it's boomers against zoomers.
It's boomers against zoomers. It's old school versus new blood. It's it's gonna be a good one, and I'm really excited to see which way this pans out. And honestly, I can't call it. I'd love to see this game go to the full 3-game series, but I can't call it one way or the other, like before we actually see the game start.
I mean, you had a good point about Bonny and Basti being washed up. Like, I think at their peak, Drachir and MrSlickins just aren't there yet. Like,
I agree with that. Like, I love to meme about Bonny in particular, but at their peak, for sure, these guys were amazing players. But Bonny's been busy, like in real life lately. Hasn't had that much time to play Legion, and he's just not on his A game. I don't think right now. Like, he's not at the level where he has been previously.
Yeah, agreed. And Basti is playing a lot less.
Yeah.
So that really makes this matchup spicy.
Yeah, for sure. And either way, I'm just really excited to get into it. We are on time now, so we're just waiting for Mr. Basti.
Yeah, he's probably getting a protein shake.
Yeah, for the viewers in Twitch who don't know, Basti is a beefcake. He is possibly the beefiest man in Legion, would you say?
You mean the beefiest man alive?
Possibly the beefiest man alive, yeah, for sure. I mean,
Dude is absolutely massive.
He's pretty chunky, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's interesting because he probably has like a 3,000 or 4,000 calorie daily intake, but yeah, he loves to starve people.
3 or 4? No. Even more. Like at least 4. At least 4. But yeah, he certainly loves to starve. Which,
absolutely.
Which really doesn't. I wouldn't associate starving with him.
Yeah, but I guess his online persona is just very different from his real life persona.
Yeah, true. Apparently it is.
Although one thing is true in both cases is that he likes to lift, right? So
he truly likes to lift it. I would assume that deadlift is his favorite exercise.
Yeah,
because he has to carry around a lot. Yeah, he has to carry around a lot of dead weight in his team called Bonny.
He's got to put a lot of weight on his shoulders in this game if they want to advance to the next stage of the tournament.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, are those guys ready?
I've just suggested that we're ready when they are.
Oh, did you fix the black screen?
I did fix the black screen. Yeah, that was because I had to type in some numbers, and all of my numpad is set up to do shortcuts, so it shouldn't last for long.
Yeah, since there's a delay, I'm not sure I address it or not, since I assume you already fixed it by now.
Yeah. But here we go, guys. We're getting into game number 1 of the February Nova Cup. We have Drachir and MrSlickins on the left side versus Bonny and Basti on the right side. And with me, again, is GreenSpirit, my random Russian teammate. Green, let's go. Game number 1.
Oh, Chaos on Basti.
Chaos, nice.
Cartel on MrSlickins.
Cartel Slickins, He has actually been playing that quite a lot on ladder lately, and he's pretty solid with it because he can use that extra income in the early game to just get off to an absolutely massive advantage. Like, expect to see him push very hard workers, income heavy, and just try to scale so that by the time that negative income kicks in on wave 11, he's already ahead of everybody else by miles.
Yep, and Basti has already locked in his role. Oh wow, he's playing Chaos. No. Yes, MrSlickins has a role to easily push with the Zerker and the Serpent, I guess, or the Cat. It really depends on what he picks. And Greed on both Drachir and Bonny. Yeah, we called the Greed on Bonny.
We called the Greed on Bonny. Like, I mean, Greed is one thing. He hasn't quite... Like, he's got maybe half a ball out of 2 going on at the moment because no balls obviously would be redraw, but Greed is still a pretty low ball play.
Yeah, I'm very surprised that he allowed Basti to play Chaos.
Yeah.
And, I mean, maybe he will freak out. He doesn't build yet. Oh, now he builds.
Ooh. Yeah. Bonny with a Halo. Oh, Bonny's roll. Oh my god, Bonny's roll. He's got Halo ball with APS.
Yep.
I'm already tilted. I am already tilted by the fact that he has Halo ball with APS.
Yeah, also he has a villain for that Halo, so that will be juicy.
Oh my god, that is filthy. Absolutely.
This early game will be a bit rough.
Yeah. But like, expect Bonny to just auto-send and king up pretty much every wave. He's just going to go super income heavy because he knows that his role is absolutely unstoppable in the late game.
Yeah, that's true, but if MrSlickins plays it right with the Cartel, he should absolutely kill Basti out of the game pre-10 in a way that Basti should never ever come back.
For sure. Now, Slickins and Basti are the only players with 5 workers. Bonny and Drachir with their slower openers having to stay on 4. Obviously, we expect them to push as soon as Wave 2 starts, but that's still another like 30, 40 seconds where you're 1 worker less, right? It does hurt.
Oh yeah, that's true. And I'm already curious when the sends are coming out, if it's gonna be more starvy. Like, Basti is sending on Drachir, So I would assume he goes 4.
Yeah, I would certainly expect a Force End against the Priestess. Unless Basti really needs the income for some kind of threshold, but I don't think he does. He's playing Neko, and he can just add like a...
Safe.
Yeah, he's fine. But Slickins, 6 workers here already on wave number 3.
Yeah, he's really trying to make the cartel worth. And he can afford to push the 6. He's pretty safe.
Yeah, and you can see the cartel really paying off because, look, he's got 2 gold remaining, which means he would never have been able to reach this value with any other mastermind option.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Alright, so Bonny and Basti continuing to save, while Slickins and Drachir, they just take their income here, but only with a single snail. So they saved post-income, and they'll still be able to send a decent chunk on wave 4 if that's their decision.
Yep, that's true.
Now
Bonny is pushing off of this.
Bonny's pushing off this. I don't love that. I don't think he's great on wave 4. If he doesn't get the 5th stack on his Necromata, he's actually really vulnerable there.
Yeah, that's true.
Now Basti, he should be okay-ish because he will get that 5th stack for sure.
Yeah, Drachir is just gonna be fine. He's deciding to build a Nightmare. I feel like a Daphne is better. But
I mean, Nightmare is insane on wave 4, but he needs it to split tank with the Priestess, right? Like, if the Priestess full tanks, or the Nightmare full tanks, then he's just going to be absolutely destroyed. But if he gets good aggro on this, it's an easy hold.
I think he's easily holding. I just feel like the Daphne is a better investment overall.
I think the Nightmare and the Priestess actually pair pretty well together, although not so much in the early game, it's more in the late game. But, you know, like waves like 12 and 16, where the Priestess is really weak, the Doppelganger's amazing there. And same on 10, right?
True, I agree.
Easy hold there.
Bonny is only pro-leaking, so it's
fine.
worth for him to push that worker.
Yeah, 25% there is good for him.
Kind of big.
Slickins leaks hard, but he has been saving, so he can send imps if he wants to, but I don't think that's good against Basti with all the arcane armor. But he does have the 100 cent. He's going to go for Brute. I wonder if he skips income for a second. He does not. He goes for the income.
I see.
So the leak here is not that bad for Slickins, honestly. Like, it was big. 67% is obviously not ideal. But it allowed him to keep generating Mythium while the wave was long and put all that pressure on Basti. So the extra, like, 20 seconds, while he has 7 workers and Basti has 5, that's pretty value, right?
Yeah, that's true, but I think it would have been worth for him to skip for the second route if he's already going for a play like this, because Basti has a Canopy, and we'll see how much worth that was, because...
I think one Brute's not enough, right? It can't be enough.
Yeah, I also don't think like this will cause a meaningful leak.
But he's not split tanking at all.
No, it's not. Like, it will leak, but it won't be big enough.
Well, so it's not a massive leak in terms of like the damage it's going to deal. It won't get any king damage. But look at it this way: like, Basti is leaking wave 5 while being 530 value and 5 workers going into the wave. So like, he was overbuilt, low workers, still leaking. I think that's a win for Slickins and Drachir.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, at the same time, Slickins leaked more to income on 4. And
he did.
And Basti is getting staffed, while Bonny has the carry role.
Yeah,
Bonny's role... They can't know that, but...
Yeah, true.
I feel like this is more going into Bonny and Basti's direction right now.
Yeah, and actually, if you look at the income now, Bonny has basically the same income as MrSlickins, but Slickins is playing Cartel.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I really did not like leaking that big on 4 to send for a 40% leak there.
And also, Bonny's role is just going to be absolutely devastating in the late game. Like, there is nothing stronger than Halo Boar, and he has both, and he has the APS as well to buff the Halo. And he even still has his reroll, so he might find, you know, like a Steed or a Leviathan or something like that to go with it, just to make it even more ridiculous. So, like, if they go into the late game, either even or with BSquared ahead, I heavily favour the side of Bonny and Basti.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And here he received another big send with 120, and the Berserker was not off-tanking at all on MrSlickins.
Yeah.
He's leaking very small, but this could have been an easy hold.
This could. I mean, it was a small send, a 120 send. Where was he? Oh, his Berserker was too far down, right? He either needed that to be like one square higher or just on the left-hand side.
Yeah. Everything died before it tanked.
Yeah. Okay, so Drachir now 11 workers, Basti 11 workers, Slickins and Bonny both on 10. But if we look at the income, Bonny now he's ahead in income compared to Slickins. And that's Greed versus Cartel. So Slickins, he's still going to get that minus 40 on wave 11, remember?
Yeah, I think, honestly, with the leak on 4 and the save, he kinda fell behind in a way that might not be recoverable with the punishment on 11.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes. If he gets a recent here, maybe he can greed, but looking at what he has on his board,
he's not protecting his items enough.
Yeah. They died way too early on 6 already, and he didn't fix that.
That's really bad because he needs that DPS.
Also, the Zerker is not tanking at all, so
it's tanking both lizards actually, which is not too bad because the cat might be able to sustain against the wave by itself.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, true.
Gonna get all of the sludges.
It's better than I thought.
Yeah.
It's a lot better than I thought.
Look, the Neko's just absolutely farming the wave there. That's actually pretty solid aggro.
That's really, really nice.
Yeah, so he holds there. That's, fair play. Well done, Slickins.
Yeah, really well done. I thought the cat would die, and then the Zerker would just stand there looking at the wave. But yeah, this one's really nice. The major issue is that he can't, like, push crazy off of this, because on wave 9 he looks very bad.
Oh, he's terrible on 9, and Drachir's not amazing either. Like, he has the antlers, sure, but the rest of his stuff is terrible on 9, unless he gets that as area.
Yeah, unless he shifts now. Yeah, but he's a lot undervalued, so I don't feel like he can afford that.
I mean, the 87 gold shift is not enough, right? 87 plus 71, that doesn't reach his area. He needs to full shift, which means he can't do the ranger here.
He's also, he's, I don't know, he's rebuilding it. I mean, he's a lot of Mythium to send as well, but...
He does have a lot of Mythium, he does.
It should not give him enough money.
Alright, so I do expect to see a 9 send coming out from all of the players here.
Yeah, but Basti is just gonna hold with his
Basti will have a death cap.
Yeah.
Or a boar. They could both just place boars on 9, to be honest.
I feel like the death cap is a lot better investment.
Bonny already has double halo, by the way. Like, sure, it's a ranged unit on wave 9, but it's also fortified armor. And it does some serious damage. Like, it's not going to be easy to leap Bonny.
Yeah, absolutely. And at least it makes sure that he's gonna clear some parts of the wave.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, like 4 eyes from Slickins as well, by the way, but I don't know about the 4 eyes. I don't know, because it depends what it attacks. Like, if the 4 eyes gets onto the death cap really early, then it can be very good. But if the 4 eyes just spends, 100 years trying to kill these 2 arcane units, then it's a complete waste of 240 Mythium.
Yeah, I feel like Basti is unleakable here.
Yeah.
And they want to force a leak here. The 4 eyes is gonna leak. That's what I think. Yeah. But it's just gonna be the 4 eyes.
Just the 4 eyes, and that's just not enough.
Now, it isn't.
And Bonny did get his boar down as well. The ogre, of course, is perfect against that. It is on the death cap. That's really important. That's really, really important. Because that needs to die here.
Yep. So he might leak slightly more than the 4 eyes.
But I think it's still just going to be the 4 eyes. Like this. Okay, no, +2.
Yeah.
Bonny 76% there.
Yep.
Okay, this is actually some serious damage. Let's go.
This is some damage, yeah.
There's full HP 4 eyes, there's full HP ogre, and there's 7 wave creeps as well. Like, they've got a few king upgrades. But this is going to be... This is going to shave their king HP down by quite some margin.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw that, but Drachir has a white main on his board. Did he just build that? Did he have enough gold all of a sudden?
So he went for the white main instead of the priestess, right?
Yeah, like he must have.
Oh, but you know why? It's because I was counting if he was shifting enough before the send, but then of course he sent 280 Mythium, so or 300 even. So the extra income gave him the 350.
I'm still surprised that he went for the white main instead of the Azaria.
Look at this though, they did 60% damage to the king of Bonny and Basti there on wave 9. So we're saying that they needed to generate an early game advantage if they want to win this. Well, they've done that. They have an early game advantage. Now the real test is whether they can convert that advantage into a win, and it's not going to be easy.
It certainly won't be easy, but they've done better than I would have expected with the 9 cent, because I thought Basti's not gonna leak, but with the 4 eyes, they managed to leak him.
There is a resend here, and Basti for sure is going to leak that. He may only leak the boss, depending if the death cap lives long enough to kill all of the sends.
Oh yeah, it should.
The death cap is getting Bonny focused now. Bonny, he received 7 snails, which obviously distract the halos for a long time. Is it long enough? With the Rangers tanking the boss?
He's leaking small.
Oh, he leaks. And Basti 75%, both imps surviving barely. I don't think this kills them, but it's even more early game advantage.
I also don't think it kills them, but it brings them very, very low.
Very, very low, yeah. And we were worried for Drachir and Slickins in the early game, right, when it seemed like they were behind. But that really aggressive play on wave 9 and the resend on 10, I think might just be enough for them to convert this one into a win.
Absolutely, those were good calls.
Although I really don't like Slickins taking Giant Snail. I really don't like that.
I saw that and I thought the same thing. Against AoE, Giant Snails just don't feel nice. Exactly. But I mean, it's just one flower so far, so it's hard to call that AoE.
Yeah, true. And Basti has actually re-rolled the flower, so he can't place more later on. So maybe it's just fine, actually.
Yep. Yeah, true.
All right. Drachir, are you going to send more? He sends a Hermit, okay. Bonny with 1635 value and 2 balls. I think Bonny should be fine. But Basti, I'm not so sure. It's very important how quickly he gets through the giant snails, because that death cap needs to start damaging the wave.
I think Basti, I feel like Basti should be leaking here, because his units are very bad except for the death cap.
He's quite low value as well, but the death cap is on the wave now. And it's very tanky, and it deals insane damage on wave 11.
Yeah, it's dead now though, and he's leaking quite big.
Huh? He's
let's see how Bonny's holding though.
Yeah, Bonny holds like quite comfortably as well. He still has 500 value left alive to cover in the mid. So they won't die, but again, it's just another incremental damage done by Slickins and Drachir. The problem is that now the ball is in the court of Bonny and Basti. They have 240 Mythium saved up, 220 on Basti, and they can send whenever they want. They're not under any pressure anymore.
Yeah, they changed the dynamic of the game by not sending here.
Yep.
And they don't get too much damage in. So now they regain the control over the game.
Yeah,
especially with Bonny holding there, we can see that he's in a better spot now, and he has the superior role here.
He absolutely does. And when do you want to try and convert that one into a win now? Because Bonny, like, when is
15,
he weak?
15.
It has to be 15, right? It has to be.
I mean, you could go for 16 if you knew that Basti does not have another flower.
It's so hard to call a 16 send, like when they have a flower on the board. Because...
And also, it is quite far. Like, I don't think it's possible to go straight 16. But you could like go for 1 cent in between and aim for ending the game there. But generally, I think it's a 15 call at this point.
Holy shit, when did MrSlickins reroll? Because his roll is now even better than Bonny's. I didn't see him reroll. But he now has Boar, Halo, Disciple as well. Like, this is... We said Bonny's roll was insane. This roll is even better.
Yeah, absolutely. And since they are so ahead, and Drachir should have enough pressure to keep Bonny down, MrSlickins might have a comeback with this role.
Yeah, absolutely might, yeah. It's just a question of whether they build for 13 or 14, and they are building for 13, it looks like, which is going to be a mistake because Bonny and Basti, they continue to save here.
Yeah, I think this is a 15 cent from both sides.
Yeah. Bonny and Basti have a very dangerous amount of Mythium saved up already.
Oh, yeah.
But do you know what's interesting? They actually have fewer workers than Drachir and Slickins, even though Drachir and Slickins sent on wave 11.
Yeah, they knew they wanted to go 15, I think.
So they just stayed super low workers throughout.
Yeah. Overbuilt and stuff, fam.
Overbuild and stuff. Absolutely splendid, fam.
Yeah, that's... Oh!
They send 14. Everyone sends 14.
14. Okay.
Everyone goes for 14.
I guess I have misread that. But I mean, yeah. Basti looks weak, 14.
Yeah, but isn't Bonny just amazing there?
Looks fine, yeah.
He gets his red eyes here.
I mean, the halos are not great, but he has...
Halos are not great,
but... Nicomatas, veterans, boars, rangers...
Daphne deals good damage. All of his other units are like Arcane Pierce. I don't know. The send is still pretty big, though. And if we take a look at Drachir's value, by the way, he's over 3k value.
Oh,
now, Slickins, he's like way undervalued. He's minus 445. But he also has the red eyes. I just think he has much less damage behind it than Bonny does.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm also not sure about Basti's send. It's a bit difficult to send into that.
Yeah.
But I don't know if like 4 Eyes was the best thing to send.
I don't love the Centaur into Basti. I mean, I don't love Centaur in general, but just look how quickly this gets sniped because of the flower.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
the flower just brings the natural HP Centaur.
And then the fertilizer just destroys it. Yeah.
It just dies way too quickly. So that's a hold from Basti, actually.
Yeah,
and a hold
Bonny
from
is also
as well.
easily holding, yeah.
Slickins leaks, but not massively.
Yeah, yeah.
And Drachir leaks as well. That's a 50 gold shutdown. They don't die here, though. And this was this was a, what, a 9 into 14 send from Bonny and Basti?
Oh, did they save for that long? Yeah, well, then 15 was too far, I guess. That's true. Yeah, but now they get some damage in as well.
They almost should have just sent Income and King on the side of Drachir and Slickins, right? Just to get that higher advantage. Like, we look at their builds, we can see that they're pretty strong on 14 for both Bonny and Basti. Despite Basti having like a flower and a fatalizer, he also has the Ocean Templar. I don't know if he was showing that on 13.
I mean, at least Bonny was strong enough, and they were not in the position of showing the aggression anymore.
Yeah.
Like, at that point, they were trying to survive the big send of Bonny and Basti, and there was, like, no indication for this being a race, in my opinion. So I think Income and King was the right play.
Yeah.
But, yeah, what are we going to see next? Yeah, like, will we see a 16 cent?
They may send 16, but Bonny and Basti, they didn't push a single worker after 14. Or maybe
and Drachir and MrSlickins didn't push enough either, so I really don't know when they want to send, because I feel like Bonny and Basti, 17 is impossible. Yeah. Do they really want to go 18? That's going to be really hard.
Surely they don't want to go 18 against Villain Halo.
Yeah, so...
And Fatalizers on Basti as well, but
they're not sending. I mean,
when else
they don't really have anything to send, because they didn't push enough for a 16 cent, but yeah.
I also think that Slickins is using like too many spots on his Starcaller with atoms. I know he's just trying to like squeeze as much value as possible out of his build while because he is undervalued. Like he's somehow managed to be starved in this game, and he's just trying to get every last penny worth of value that he can, which is fine. But I just think it would be better if he just had, you know, like the 200 gold disciples instead of the 90 gold atoms. You know?
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. It would make a lot bigger change. But yeah, I'm really curious what we're gonna see. I feel like
Nobody sends on 17. There's no way that anyone sends on 17. This is going to be 18. I just don't know if it's going to be a full send or an income king on 18. I don't see anybody saving past 18. I think it has to be an 18 send from everybody.
Way. Yeah, it should be an 18 send. If everyone keeps their nerves here.
Yeah. No, there's no way. There's no way that anyone sends here.
I mean, Bonny has the Halos and the Rangers, and he has Villain, but at the same time, his only tanks are Boars, which are not that great on 18. So it might actually be possible to leak him there. MrSlickins adding another proton on the circle.
Oh, Bonny's disconnected. So the game is automatically paused, and hopefully we can get those guys back as soon as possible. I will cut to cams while we wait for Bonny to get back. So this gives us like a bit of a chance to just discuss how we think the game is going so far, and it's a really, really close one. We're on wave 17, and I still can't tell you who's going to win this game, because both sides have pretty insane rolls with no obvious weak waves. Like the Boar Halo combo, it just doesn't have weak waves, full stop. It just doesn't have any weak waves. Although I have to give the edge to Bonny, though, because his Halo has Villain, whereas Slickins doesn't. And on top of that, Bonny just has more value as well. Like, he has about 500 value more than Slickins. Now, sure, he has fewer workers, but yeah, his value might just be what clenches this one. And we are now back into the game. So here we go. Let's jump back into this.
Agreed.
Bonny getting his third Halo down now. No, he actually shifts 200 gold. This is an APS. Okay.
I mean,
Drachir's
role really is not bad either.
Well, Drachir's just found the Boar now as well, so yeah. His role is also not bad.
Yeah, he got the Boar, he got the Zarya, he got the Rangers.
He also has Villain as well, so I think...
Yeah.
I just don't see when anybody leaks apart from, like, wave 21.
I mean, Basti's role is slacking, even though he found the Boar as well.
Yeah, well, Basti is weak on 19, but there was no way that anybody could afford to save past 18 here, because if one side saved and the other side sent, then the sending side just wins 100% of the time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But Basti has the Boar in his role now too. So
of course, we just have 4 Boars. Why would everybody in the game not have Boars?
I mean, he's playing Chaos, so he was supposed to find it at some point.
Yeah.
If he was calling the 19 cent, he could have built some Boars here too, so everyone had them.
Look at Drachir and Slickins, by the way, just building full stall with the tier 1 spam.
I really like it. I like to see it.
That's good. It wastes a lot of time for wave 18.
Yeah, especially
and he has some very high DPS units behind it.
The polys fit perfectly, so I feel like Drachir has a really good chance to hold.
And his Villain Doppelganger is just insane as well. Like, the Villain effect on wave 18 is so high value.
I think he's gonna hold. I'm more curious about Bonny, because I feel like he's gonna leak. And yes,
Bonny's Villain Halo
he doesn't have the front line.
Oh, and Basti leaks as well. Do they just die here?
I don't think it's enough for them to die.
Slickins leaks, but Drachir,
Drachir easy holding.
Drachir absolutely carrying the
Absolute
game.
Legend. But I don't think this is enough.
They have 54% HP, there's 2 low HP creeps, 1 full, 2 shamans. It's going to be a lot of damage, but I think you're right. I think they survive here.
Yeah. And I think this will be a 21 game.
It has to be, right? Because everybody is amazing on 20.
Yeah, we have Halos, we have Villain, we have Rangers, and we have Fertilizers.
Yeah.
And...
Slickins can take his second Halo here. He does.
The worst roll for 21 is obviously on Basti. So Bonny is forced to hold.
Yeah.
So Drachir is supposed to push. That's
it has to push, but Drachir's roll on 21 is also very, very strong. The problem
also Slickins is behind, which makes it very hard to balance for Drachir to play this.
They have the bad suicide lineup. Like Drachir needs to be the one who hard pushes workers, but he can't because he also needs to be the one who holds.
Yep. I mean, MrSlickins has a good 21 roll. He's just in a too bad spot. Like, I think he pushed
fire now, by the way.
Yep. I think
Drachir is pushing though. It looks like they might go for a wave 20 send even. They do.
Yeah, MrSlickins is full pushing.
Oh, I don't know about that one, dude. I don't know about the 20 send. I think this might be a throw. I think this might be a throw.
Look at Basti's value. He's leaking the no send here.
Yeah.
So I feel like
he's leaking the no send here, but he's
both sides are sending. Both sides are sending.
Both sides sending. Okay.
I think everyone feels the pressure. Like, look at MrSlickins' value. Look at Basti's value. They know that, like, if they don't send and the other team sends,
they die.
This might be really dangerous.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to keep your cool in those type of situations.
But I think Bonny will just hold, though. Like, he has 4 red eyes, so Drachir is sending these fiends to try and distract the halos.
I really don't know if he has the tank value to hold. Like, he's on 6.
I don't like this. I don't like the poly spam on 20.
Oh,
it's not good on 20. It's amazing on 18. It's amazing on 19. But on wave 20, it just heals the boss and gives him more damage. I don't like the poly spam there from Drachir.
I mean, I'm not sure if it's maybe worth with the interaction with Ranger.
Maybe with the Ranger, yeah.
Yeah. Like,
they actually do some serious damage.
Yeah, because they start doing damage. Maybe it's worth.
I think Bonny just holds here, no? Like, these fiends that were sent to distract the halos are just going to be...
value.
The fiends just disappear. The fiends just absolutely disappear as soon as the force collides.
I think sending the fiends is not worth it. He should have rather sent a 4-eye instead of those 4 fiends.
And with Villain as well, like, this Maccabeus is just disintegrating in Bonny's lane.
Oh, yeah.
It's just, it was there 1 minute and it's just on the next.
He's gonna leak. He doesn't have the tank value.
Then Drachir and Slickins take it, and actually Drachir, I was like questioning his poly spam, but this is insane. He's just holding.
Yeah, I told the interaction with the Rangers, and he's just carrying this game on his shoulder like an absolute champ.
Insane. So the new blood, they take this series 1-0. They take the advantage. Well played, Drachir and Slickins. That's fantastic.
Very, very well played. Very well executed. I was doubting them in some moments, but they had a very convincing performance. Especially Drachir was shining in this one.
They also they took the aggression, right? Like, if we scroll back to, say, wave
9, they started the big.
Yeah, so wave 9, like, everything's looking pretty even. They go for this massive send on wave 9. They get 60% damage in against Bonny and Basti's King. They have a worker lead. They push more workers into wave 10. So Slickins is on 16 workers wave 10, right? Compared to 12 and 14 on Bonny and Basti. They get the leak again on wave 10. So that's even more damage, bringing them down to 17%. They send again on 11, and Basti's leaking again there.
Yeah.
Now, Bonny's holding, so that kind of puts the ball back into their court, but they don't push any workers. They don't push at all on the side of Bonny and Basti, which means, sure, they're holding then when the send comes on 14, but they may have just been able to win the game if they'd, if they pushed like 4 or 5 workers each on wave 11, they might just have been able to win the game on 14 outright. Because they'd have had another 100 or 200 Mythium to send there on 14, right?
Yeah,
they kind of tried to play it safe, play it passive. And I think Drachir and Slickins, with their higher aggression levels, kind of reap the rewards, really.
Yeah, true. I agree.
They were also the only ones to push on 14, so even though Bonny and Basti held their 14 sends pretty easily, Basti pushed 1 worker, Bonny pushed 0 workers, while Slickins and Drachir, they pushed like 4 on Drachir, 2 on Slickins, and that just means that by the time wave 18 came around, their send was much, much bigger, like 200 Mythium each more sent to Bonny and Basti there.
I mean,
that's just the difference.
I feel like after they lost 0-2 against Tyrion and me last time, they looked at my tagline which said, no worker, no problem.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work like this. I feel like Bonny took it a bit too literal by pushing 0 workers.
Yeah.
After wave 11, so that kind of bit him in the ass.
Then we just see the win there on 20. I'm actually surprised that everybody was leaking 20. Like, I know the values were low and the sends were large.
Yeah,
but there's villain halos and star callers and fatalizers. You know, like, everybody basically has a dream roll for wave 20.
Yeah, it's insane damage. But after all, Red Eyes simply aren't. They are the best tank on nearly every wave, but just not on 20.
Yeah, exactly, not on 20.
Yeah.
Wow, what a game, dude! Yeah, what a sick game.
That one was interesting. It had a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah. All right, there's no lobby up yet, so we'll just wait for those guys to hop back into the next one.
All right.
Oh man, what a game though! Like I was, it was so up and down. We had like Drachir and Slickins kind of losing in the early game, then that massive play on 9 to get them back into the game, nearly winning on 10. Like they got them down to 17%, and then just the aggression paying off for them really solidly. That was very well played from Slickins and Drachir.
Absolutely, lobby is up, and I gotta say, I'm slightly biased because I don't know. Somehow, I really enjoy to see like the new blood performing well, because for me it was also kind of recent when I joined the Gentleman's Club over here, and so I really enjoy seeing Drachir and MrSlickins performing that well here. Okay.
So I'm just trying to organise something with the players, but that should be fixed pretty soon. And as soon as the guys are ready, we can hop straight into game number 2.
Yep. I'm already curious if they will maybe pick different mastermind options.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing a different option, to be honest.
Bring different strategies, yeah.
Yeah. And the send order has been picked now on the side of Bonny and Basti, and they have reversed the send order. So we have the support player Basti sending into the carry player Slickins. So they've basically just done exactly what we said before game number 1 started. They have their support sending into the carry and vice versa. So now Bonny should have an easier game, and Slickins should have a much harder game. But we didn't actually see that game plan play out as much in game number 1. I don't think it felt like Slickins was starving for Drachir.
Absolutely. I wanted to say that as well. Like MrSlickins used his cartel to starve Basti. He went 5, big 5 into 9. And there's chaos for Basti again. And Drachir was actually the carry player there.
Yeah, and he played fantastically well as well, by the way. Like, he really did get that game on his shoulders. Yeah,
he actually pushed workers. Like, if I didn't watch as a spectator, I wouldn't have known that he can. And we have YOLO from MrSlickins. That's also interesting.
So they didn't put the game in tournament mode, but it shouldn't matter as long as everybody picks a mastermind option, which they all have, so it's fine. All right, we can pop into the game now, and we do see YOLO on Slickins, so ball size like Galaxy Ball, basically. You don't get bigger balls than picking YOLO in a tournament. We have Greed on Drachir. We have Cartel on Bonny, actually.
They're remaking the game, Penny.
They don't need to remake.
I think. Yeah, but I think MrSlickins just left, and I'm not sure if he can rejoin.
I'll whisper him.
Oh, okay. Well, alright. Since Penny is doing some organizing, I will get back to the game. The game is paused right now, but we see Cartel on Bonny this time, which extremely surprises me, because I would have never thought that he picks anything other than Greed or Redraw. And we have Chaos and Basti. Maybe this is a desperation move after they just lost the game. and they're trying something new.
Yeah, there will be a remake, it looks like, so I don't think they can get back into a custom lobby.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So, yeah, we do have to end this one, so I'll pop back to the casters cam. And, yeah, sorry about that, guys. In Twitch chat, we will get the next game up and running as soon as possible. The players forgot to choose tournament mode, and it does mean that we need to go for a quick remake, so...
Yeah. But I would assume they still pick the same options.
Yeah. And I am very interested to see them mix it up a little bit, actually. Like,
yeah, and
maybe Bonny thought that his early game was too rough last game, which is why he's going for a cartel this time around.
Yeah, maybe. It didn't look that rough last game, though, to be honest.
No, it didn't actually. They seemed pretty solid. I think the first sign of danger obviously was wave 9, but that was a pretty big sign of danger, right? Like they went from 100% to 40% with massive leaks on both of them, despite having insane value.
And they didn't even leak that big, but those big power mercs, like the Ogre and the Forest, they just do massive damage.
They do so much damage. Yeah, the fact that they were both full HP when they reached the King, like, is just insane. Like, the King on wave 9 just isn't built to cope with a 4 Eyes and an Ogre. It just can't handle it at all.
Yeah, that's true. Basti is whispering me how we to proceed.
Just tell them to get back into the new lobby that's up.
Yep. I'm PMing him. They're still in the old lobby. They were confused about what's going on.
Okay. I'll invite them both to the lobby.
Yep, they're coming.
Okay, so everyone's back in the lobby now, guys. So sorry about the delay there, Twitch chat. We will have the next game ready very, very soon. All right, here we go.
Let's go for an interesting game number 2. It's kind of ballsy to play YOLO in a tournament format. But
yeah.
With recent changes, it might actually be viable.
I think it's fine. I think it's good.
Yeah, it's still very difficult to pull off because it has such a high variance.
Yeah.
It's kind of,
Slickins completely changing up. So going from YOLO in the last game to Castle this time around.
Yeah, he really changed his mind.
But Bonny and Basti, they're sticking with the options from last game. We have Cartel on Bonny. We have Chaos again on Basti. So Basti, obviously a filthy Chaos spammer. Just hoping to high roll. And I will swap us into the game now. Twitch chat, let's get into game number 2. Drachir and Slickins on the left, Bonny and Basti on the right. There is a 1-0 advantage in favour of Drachir and Slickins.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can already see Basti opening with the Berserker.
And he has that chain fist, which is just the perfect complement for waves 3 and wave 5.
He's playing Chaos, though.
Oh, he's playing Chaos, of course, yeah.
Yeah. So he won't be able to play that. And also with the recent changes, he might not get it if he pushes 5 workers, because the waves are not naturally slow enough for the Berserker to send 40 on 3.
True.
So that makes it a lot harder to pull off Berserker Chain Fist.
Now, Bonny, he has got Boar in his role, which, you know, the unit we all love to hate, but he hasn't really got anything to go with it. Now, he's just re-rolled here on wave 1.
He does. He has Aqua APS.
Well, he rolled away the Aqua and the APS in favour of Mask and Leviathan. So his DPS is going to come just from the Mask and the Leviathan late game. But that's all Pierce, so he's going to be really, really weak on, like, wave
I'm really
18.
not sure if I like that choice, because I feel like Aqua APS is stronger, also because it just snipes the ranged sense.
Yeah, exactly.
On the dangerous waves, like 18. he will never hold with his role.
No,
But
agreed.
with the Aquas, he could just kill the shamans, the dangerous shamans then.
Yeah, wave 18, he's trash. Wave 20, he's awful. He just can't hold wave 20 at all. And
yeah, I mean,
wave
15, he's trash too. Wave 13, he's trash.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure what his idea was with this role.
I think he just didn't get an ideal role, but I totally agree that he should have kept the Aqua APS instead of the Mask and the Leviathan.
Yeah,
I think it's much, much better.
Yeah, so MrSlickins with one of his classics. I'm not sure if I like this so far.
The Infiltrator and the
the
Pilgrim, like
the Pilgrim opener.
Do you think he has enough magic damage?
I'm not sure if he does. Let's watch his lane on wave 7 to find out.
Yeah, we'll check in again on wave number 7 and see how he does there. Yeah, that's a good call. He does have options though, like he has got that Serpent, so he can have Deep Coiler for 7, and he has Veterans as well, so he's not completely useless there.
That's true. Drachir very safe with his atoms and the steed that he can just add here.
I actually play this one square further behind because like this, the steed will just full tank and the atoms won't use their HP at all until the steed is already gone, which I think is a bit of a mistake, but he should do okay. It's only a small send.
He will be very fine here, but it's like more important for waves like 4, for example, where you're kind of vulnerable to a resend. And in the early game, it's just very useful for your DPS units to off tank. And here you can see the left atom is basically tanking nothing. So the only units sharing aggro are the steed and the right atom.
Yeah, which means now the atom's dead, now the steed is going to get speed run.
But he's still going to do super fine here.
Yeah, he should actually just hold, right? But that's because it's a baby send and he's on 280 value, so...
Yeah, he's quite strong here with the steed as well, so...
But I think that positioning is going to bite him on, like, wave 6, for example, where the atom just isn't going to tank.
Yep.
And you kind of need it to.
I mean, will it even tank on wave 5?
It might not. The boss might go straight on the steed, Yeah,
I also think so.
And you need to use the atom's HP for those early waves, right?
Yeah. This is...
like this, there's no way. The atoms are just not tanking on any wave now, so I think that is a bit of a misplay from Drachir, but I guess it's not the end of the world either.
No, absolutely not. And we see a send on Basti and Bonny.
Yeah. Slickins should be fine here because he did get to play the Serpent. He's also got a pretty nice aggro split.
Yep.
3 of his units taking damage, which means 3 of his units getting healed by the Pilgrim. The Serpent just kills the wave very, very quickly.
This looks really nice.
But it took the Pilgrim and the Infiltrator around 100 years to kill the Dragon Turtle. But this looks like it's just a hold, right?
Yeah, this is an easy hold.
Yeah.
It was just very close for the Serpent to survive with the heal as well, but sadly that didn't work out.
A very nice aggro split actually on MrSlickins. Really, really nice aggro.
True. And he did not push that much. He decides to shift some gold, I guess. But what is he shifting for? And now he pushed a worker. He just took his time. But yeah. Bonny is playing quite risky. And he's receiving a fiend here. I mean, the Pilgrim and the Berserker are quite strong, but he's quite undervalued. So I think he might be leaking here. But Basti is easily holding with
with his Harbinger,
Yeah, with his Harbinger, he should be fine.
It's just not even going to be close. The Pilgrim just healed. Did you see that? It had like no HP left, but now it dies. But that was another 240 HP that it generated just before death there. So that's a couple of units dying that he wouldn't have killed otherwise.
Yeah, true.
And actually, Basti, I was going to say he's close to leaking, but he has 2 full HP doggos there. So not only was he not close to leaking, but he's going to full cover this leak from Bonny as well.
Yeah, we kind of have mistaken Bonny and Basti since Bonny was the one holding. And the Fiend was living for ages. And then he went for a small penny leak with it. because he nearly had it killed, but then still leaked it instead of clearing some more of the wave. You sure do like the penny leaks, right?
I love the penny leak. Like, the penny leak is absolutely my favourite thing when it happens to somebody else. When it happens to me, on the other hand, my sodium levels go through the roof.
Then it's the worst thing in the world.
Exactly, yeah.
And there's another recent on Basti.
There is another recent, but Basti, I think he's like amazing on this wave, right?
Yeah. His Pilgrim
might die.
He still heals. He still heals.
Die. But I don't know, like, can the Berserker
this is a leak. This is a leak.
4 creeps?
This is a small leak. No, it doesn't have the life total to do that. Especially the Fiend does some decent damage, which is dead now, but...
Yeah, but this is the pro leak, though. This is, this was an 80 send, he's leaking 2 creeps, he's not under any pressure now on wave 7, where he would have been weak otherwise, because his build... okay, he has the mask, but everything else he has is weak. I think we'll call that a +4 sunglasses. That's a pro leak.
Absolutely, absolutely. And he's on the highest workers right now, and he's sending a Mimic. And we were talking about Wave 7 at the start of the game.
Yeah, we did say that we needed to check back in for MrSlickins on 7 and see how he gets on.
And now we're going to check in to see an interesting wave.
This is definitely going to be an interesting wave. I think Slickins might be about to book himself a seat on the struggle bus.
Yep.
This is...
I think so.
He can only afford 1 snail to go with the Mimic, however.
True.
And meanwhile, there's a 180 send against Drachir, but he's 800 value. He should just be fine. It's only income against him as well, by the way. I think if Bonny had sent a Mimic as well, Drachir would have linked massively.
The Mimic is going on the deep coiler.
Oh, but it dies, though! He sniped it out between the coiler and the boosted veteran. He snipes the Mimic, kills it really quickly. And this is just going to be a really solid hold from Slickins. That's insane!
This went a lot better than expected.
Wow, I'm very, very surprised that he holds it. And actually, Drachir is leaking instead.
Is he just holding?
He's just holding, dude.
It's very close.
I don't know if he holds. There's 3 big blobs left alive.
Yeah,
I don't think
he basically pro leaks with the +4 sunglasses.
That is a +4. That is absolutely a +4.
And here, Drachir going for a little penny leak as well.
A little penny leak on the Fiend. But these were 2 big sends and very, very small amount of leaks reaching the King. So minimal King damage on the side of Drachir and Slickins. But what I will say is that Basti and Bonny, they have a pretty decent worker lead. They're both ahead of their counterparts by 1 worker. And they're also quite significantly ahead in terms of income, though of course that is partially due to the castle on Slickins and the cartel on Bonny. So that will change after wave 11. But Bonny's already 30 income ahead of Slickins.
Yeah, true. An important factor is also the mental edge. We can see Basti writing in the old chat, Mimic first target, come on. And I think by sniping out that Mimic, Slickins really has a mental edge over the other team.
Oh, absolutely. And you can't underrate mental edge as well. Like, if you get tilted in a game like Legion, where you really have to be on the ball constantly for like the whole time you're playing, it can affect your gameplay. Like, that's not just a meme. It seriously can affect your gameplay when you're playing on tilt. Yeah,
absolutely. And look at Basti. He's 100 undervalue. Like, his center did not pay off.
Yeah.
And he looks absolutely horrible on wave 9.
He looks trash.
And the center's coming out.
The center's coming, but it's only income from Drachir and Slickins.
I don't like that it's only income, to be honest.
I think they could have got a lot of damage in, actually, with a full send here. Obviously not against Bonny, who's amazing on this wave, but against Basti, like, he's definitely leaking to a decent send here on 9, for sure.
I mean, honestly, Bonny has 2 good units. The rest is not that good.
Like, he has 2 good units, but like he would be way overvalued if he wasn't treasure hunting.
Yeah, true. But I feel like Basti is bad enough that they could get damage. But the power
this is 120 each, right? Like, if they just both go for mole plus snails or something, they're probably getting decent leaks.
Yeah, exactly. But the power mercs are coming out onto Drachir and Slickins.
But I like what Slickins did. He made the Pilgrim here, which is not only pretty solid damage, but it also gave so much HP to his Buckler, which is a fantastic tank on wave 9. So it looks like Slickins is doing just fine. He kills the mole now, and this should either be a very small leak or a full hold. And Drachir, of course, full holding. He has insane value on Drachir.
Easily.
Meanwhile, Basti actually leaks.
And see, Basti's leaking 50% to the income cent, so I don't know. Like, maybe Drachir needed the gold to hold, but he held extremely comfortably, so I really doubt that, and he's only 5 undervalued. So I feel like he really could have punished Basti more.
He may have needed exactly like the income cent to get his boar or something, or like to get his boar and the aqua. Like,
maybe that's true. But the thing is, Basti is just not lucky with his chaos rolls. Looking at his
his build is looking pretty janky, to be honest. Like
the struggle bus might arrive on his station on wave 11, and then right on wave 12 again.
Well, he's getting a resend here on 10 though. Now, what can he do with 300 gold to try and hold here? Because he hasn't really got good positioning for something like a nightmare.
He could place an Avenger and try.
Where does he put it? Okay, he does, but he's in an awkward position.
It is, but I think it's the correct play to put it.
It is the correct play. It is for sure the correct play. Now, Bonny should leak here, I think, even though he's on crazy value. Like, all of his units are trash here, apart from the Tempest, basically.
Yeah, I mean, he's plus 115, but his
his units are just dead value, right?
He has some AoE.
On the side of Drachir and Slickins, Drachir is holding, I think, or maybe Drachir leaks small. And Slickins, he's going to leak small.
Leaks small too, yeah.
So Bonny leaks, of course. Drachir does leak, very, very small. And Basti Slickins leaks very, very small. Well, Basti holds, he does.
Yep.
Okay, well that's going back in the favour of Bonny and Basti, but guess what? Here comes wave 11, so here comes minus 40 income for Bonny and plus 40 income for Slickins. Yep. So the tides are going to start turning here. Like, the fact that the two teams are fairly even going into wave 11 is actually really bad for Bonny and Basti, because look at the income totals now. Now that we just ticked over onto wave 11, we see Slickins being 40 income ahead of Bonny because they both had that big 40 income swing on wave 11. Yep. So I think the fact that the two teams were fairly close together at this stage of the game is a really big positive for Drachir and Slickins.
Absolutely. Basti is going to be falling behind very hard now because he's on the lowest workers right now with the lowest income. Like, okay, Bonny is slightly lower income, but he has a lot more workers.
Yeah, Bonny with 19 workers is like the one saving grace for these teams here, the fact that he has the worker lead. But I just don't know. They need...
Unfortunately, Bonny has weak waves with his roll.
He does.
So it's not going to be enough, I feel like.
And so does Basti. Like, Basti looks absolutely terrible on 14. Like, he can get a Sovereign, but that's the only unit he has that is any good on 14 currently.
Yeah, but Bonny is a god on 14.
Yeah, Bonny is good.
So they should not be too worried about that. I'm curious when we are going to see the next send, but I also feel like it
12
might
is
be
the answer.
12. Yeah.
Bonny and Basti, they send here already. Now, will Drachir and Slickins go for their income, or will they continue to
Slickins is plus 555. I think he's feeling pretty safe.
He's pretty solid. He's not got too much DPS here. He does go for the second coiler, which I think is a good call.
Drachir is decently undervalued, though.
But Drachir is amazing on this one.
He has one boar, but I mean...
But he just made the Violet here, no? Did he have that already? The second Violet.
Sure. Didn't he just build the Star Color?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think he's not that amazing because the Violets and the Steeds are not too great, and he's just lacking the tank value.
Yeah, he also shifted 50 gold as well. So I think easy hold for Slickins. We might see a leak on Drachir. But these guys can just push crazy hard off the back of this, and they didn't send. So now the aggression is firmly back in the court of Drachir and Slickins, and Drachir is actually doing completely fine, by the way. He's going to leak he's going to leak a 4 Eyes and a Hermit, and that's it. Slickins is easily holding. He's got 2 decently healthy.
Oh, yeah.
Chieftain's
He's on
alive.
insane value.
And
I
they can
guess
just save now.
I misjudged that. I mean, the Sand was not too great either, because the 4 eyes just is not good against what he has. But
why are
the
they
question
sending
is,
13 though?
I just wanted to say the question is, when are they going? And they're going
13
now.
13 is not the answer.
Bonny is really bad here, but especially after the Sand, they don't feel any pressure. They can save for longer. Basti is very, very strong on 13.
Basti is a god on 13. It's his best wave in the entire game.
Yeah, he has the gate, he builds the Hellgate now. He has the Avenger.
Yeah.
He has a Zerker. Like, I really don't see him leak here.
This is by far Basti's best wave. He's just going to hold. Like, the Send is not big enough, I don't think, to deal with Magician, Hellgate, Berserker, Avenger, and a bunch of, like, all of his tanks as well. Just natural or swift armor, so he's just very, very strong this wave.
Yeah, and they're going for the king ups.
Bonny will leak everything, however.
Yeah. I'm surprised they feel under enough pressure to go full king up here. Because
I can see it though, because Bonny is going to leak hard here.
Yeah, that's true. But
he's
gonna leak full.
Can you tell me what these two lizards are doing here?
I'm not entirely sure what they're doing here.
Yeah. Bonny...
Possibly cheering for the 4-eye.
So there's Bonny with the 67% leak, and there's Basti with the...
There's a leak on Basti as well.
He is actually going to leak, right? He's going to leak the 4-eyes and the questionable lizards.
Yeah.
But that's another magic creep.
I feel like the lizards are like the cheerleaders on the side of the 4-eye.
Yeah, they're the escorts, right?
Yeah, exactly.
This is like Snoop Dogg with his entourage.
Exactly.
Alright, so there's a little bit of king damage here. They do, of course, have full king upgrades, so it's not going to do much to the king. But this is... I don't know. I feel like this was a mistake from Drachir and Slickins.
Yeah.
Because they weren't under any pressure. They weren't under any pressure whatsoever. They didn't have to send on 13. They could have just saved and gone like 14 or 15 is amazing against both Bonny and Basti.
Yep.
I feel like if they just went straight 15, it's 100% one game for them. I don't see how they could possibly have lost.
And they had the possibility to do so after the 12 cent. Because right when I wanted to talk about that, they already sent.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this might have been a miscommunication. Like, they agreed to send 13 before that, were taken off guard by the 12 cent that they just easily held.
Now don't get me wrong, they're still winning. Drachir and Slickins are still very, very much in the lead in this game.
That's true. That's true.
By some margin as well. They have a lot more income. They have way more workers. They actually have 10 more workers on the side of Drachir and Slickins. And they are going for a resend here on 15, where Bonny and Basti are very weak. Now, I know that the send's not going to be massive, because of course they sent on 13. But Basti and Bonny, their values are just super, super low.
Yeah, that's true.
This should still just end the game, right?
Yeah, I feel like this might just still be enough to kill Bonny and Basti.
Bonny and Basti actually save here.
Wow, look at their values.
Their values are just unbelievably low. I can't see them survive this wave.
Yeah, I feel like they're saving for the next game. And their next game might be
their next game is going to be next month, because...
Yeah. I mean, I feel like this might be the longest save that we've ever seen. Saving for 1 month.
A month-long save is impressive, dude.
A month-long save. They're gonna start the game with, I don't know, being able to send Kraken on 1.
Yeah, in March. Alright, so here we have 440 against Basti, we have 480 against Bonny, and I just don't see either player holding here. I really don't see them holding here. The question is whether the leak is going to be big enough to end the game, but I think the answer to the question is just yes.
Yeah, it feels like it.
Although, actually, Bonny's doing some incredible damage there. Like, you can't underestimate Masked with Leviathan.
He's doing a lot better than I would have expected.
Is he even going to kill the Shaman? He is.
Yeah, he is.
Whoa.
So, I think they're gonna they're gonna live.
They are gonna live. There's one full
they're
HP boss,
gonna take massive damage though.
But are they though? Because this one's pretty low, and they have full king upgrades.
Yeah, the wave 15 with the Shaman still does very good damage.
Yeah. The king,
And the
wasted
king
two
decided
attacks.
the king wasted an attack, and I think this is quite reasonable damage.
It's reasonable, fam. Reasonable.
It's reasonable, fam.
Now here comes the counter send here from Bonny and Basti. Slickins and Drachir, they know it's coming. They go for the income. They go for the king upgrades.
Yep.
Which is absolutely the correct play, by the way. 100% the correct play.
They should be maxing out King Spell instead of King Attack.
Well, they have everything. They're maxing everything. Yeah.
It was just not showing on the top left, yeah. Alright. And
They have insane value. We have Drachir
like,
over 4k. We have Slickins.
Yeah, but Slickins is really not that great here.
He's not, and he's heavily undervalued. 580 undervalued.
Isn't either. But wave 16 is just not that good at killing.
Yeah, the leak needs to be huge to win the game for Bonny and Basti here. The leak needs to be enormous.
Yeah. It needs to be humongous.
Yeah.
And
I just feel that like Slickins and Drachir, if they skip 13 and gone straight 15, there's no way they could have lost the game.
Yeah, I think that was the winning play. But I mean, maybe they just didn't want to risk them holding, stop themselves.
Drachir's doing extremely well, by the way.
He's doing extremely well, and this is absolutely not enough to kill them.
So the percentages are big. The percentages are big because the 4 eyes are there, but this is not that dangerous. They're not going to take too much king damage here at all.
Yeah, they're going to take less than Bonny and Basti took on wave 15 here.
Can I point out, though, that Bonny has already started full pushing?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're kind of desperate. They need to go for a play here.
They're playing for their outs, which is absolutely the correct decision. Like, when you're super far behind, you have to make these very risky plays in order to win. And I do really like that Bonny has recognized that and decided it's already time to full push. The question is, when do they send? It has to be 18, right?
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, now that they didn't send 17, which would have been a mistake because of Drachir, we know they're forced to go 18.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm curious about
Slickins is really strong 18.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just curious if they will notice if Bonny's suicided, but I think his value is low enough for him to pro league here. He's just incredibly good here.
He's insane here.
But 3.3k value is just
even with
very,
balls.
very low.
If he holds here, then balls are even more broken than anybody ever thought they were.
Yeah, I mean, he is quite good also with the Leviathans buffing.
Well, the Leviathans are actually very weak on 17, but yeah, the masks do insane damage.
The masks. It's more about the masks.
He's actually not even close. It's not. It's
not they might
close.
not even notice that he's suicided if they didn't count the value.
They still
because
send 18, of course.
Easy holding. Yeah, obviously. But Basti
actually, Slickins is pushing hard, so they haven't noticed. They've read this wrong.
Wow, they absolutely misread this, especially look at their rolls. Yeah. Basti is a beast on 18, while Bonny is really suboptimal there.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're playing in Bonny and Basti's cards. They're playing it this way.
Yeah, Slickins hard pushing here feels like the only way that Bonny and Basti can win.
Yeah, because Bonny's suiciding on Drachir. MrSlickins is actually better because possibly better than Drachir, even though Drachir has a shotgun Starcaller.
Yeah, but he has all of his magic damage, he has Fatalizers, he has Orchids as well.
Exactly. So I feel like they might have managed to give Bonny and Basti a chance to win this game, even though it looked like they had none.
Yeah, I feel like Slickins actually should sacrifice one of his coilers at this point and just build something else, like another Orchid or something.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Another Orchid would be a lot more useful, especially with the boost as well.
Yeah,
and he still has 19 gold, and
I don't undervalue. 1400 undervalue.
Yeah, I don't see Slickins boosting this Orchid.
Oh, Slickins!
He has the gold for it.
Well, okay. Let's see what happens. Or maybe he just wanted the Orchid to tank for his chieftains, but it doesn't tank very long.
Yeah.
The chieftains are still getting completely run over.
Yeah, true. And I feel like they lose here.
Bonny, of course, is leaking.
I mean, Basti is just holding. Yeah, he's just holding.
Drachir looks massively.
And they absolutely misread the situation and threw the game.
They completely misread this one. I mean, you have to say well played to Bonny and Basti, because they had like a 1% chance to win this game, and they seized that. They did like the one path to victory that could possibly have won this game.
I love to see it. I love exactly this about this game, that even if the game looks like there's no chance that you can win, there's still something that you can do that might work out, and this is showcasing a high level of play. And I think that was a really good game.
Yeah, I have to go back to this Wave 13, dude. I have to go back to this Wave 13, because I think this is where the game was lost. Yeah, this has to be where the game was lost, right? Because Slickins and Drachir, they didn't need to send. They did not need to send here on 13 at all. Like you can see that Basti is a god on 13. You can see all of his units are amazing on 13, and you just got to send yourself on 12, which you pretty much held. So you're not under any pressure at all. You can see that Basti's really strong on 13. Just save for 15. Like,
absolutely. That would be the correct play. If they send 700
or 800 Mythium on 15, there is no way that Bonny and Basti survive. There is no way they survive.
Yeah, I completely agree with this. But I don't think that was the losing play yet. Like, they were ahead. If they
were still ahead, you're right. But then Bonny and Basti made the correct read, and Slickins and Drachir made a very, very wrong read, in fact.
I just absolutely don't understand why MrSlickins suicided on Bonny for 18, where Bonny is just weak.
Bonny was already weak on 18, right?
It's his weak wave. So I really don't know why they went for this play, especially since Drachir has a weak wave on wave 18 because he has no tanks for it, and he will never see a weak wave after that ever again.
But I mean, if Drachir just pushes instead of Slickins, if Drachir is the one who goes to 48 workers and Slickins stays on 30,
and
they win the game on 18, right?
And even if they don't, with the push from Drachir, he just snowballs after that, and he's never gonna leak.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man!
What an insane game!
What an insane game! Like Drachir and Slickins were so far ahead, and then I mean, fair play, Bonny and Basti. They really pulled this one out of the bag.
Yeah, I also really like that we're gonna see a third game.
Yeah,
I like close matchups, and I like all three games to be played out.
Yeah, but dude, that was unbelievable. I still can't get my head around the fact that game was such a roller coaster back and forth.
Yeah, I thought they were just gonna be playing the smooth sailing, stomping Bonny and Basti 2-0, because they gave them the free 15 cent with the 12 cent, and then they just sent, and they lost their confidence because it just was not enough. They felt like they're not in control anymore, and started to crumble under the pressure, because this call for Slickins to full push for 18 really does not look like any other decision they have made so far.
Yeah.
So I hope they're gonna, take a minute.
This might just come down to the tournament experience that we were talking about before, right? Because Bonny and Basti, they've been in these high-pressure tournament situations before, and Slickins and Drachir haven't, at least not in Legion. Like, they may well have played tournaments in other games, but they haven't really had that experience in Legion as much. And it really shows here, because the late-game decision-making on the side of Bonny and Basti was just another level, right? Like, Drachir and Slickins outplayed them heavily in the early to mid-game. Like, they were so far ahead. The game was practically over in their favour. And then they slipped up a couple of times. Like the unnecessary 13 send, I think, was a throw, and then of course, like Slickins deciding to full push into 18 was a bigger throw. But they would never have got to that stage if they hadn't made that mistake on 13 in the first place. So like a couple of mistakes compounding there, while Bonny and Basti make their like 1% chance play, is just the only way that they could win the game. And it really, it pulled together perfectly for Bonny and Basti there. They absolutely seized their chance, and that was just some incredible Legion. So very well played, those guys.
Yeah, true. And the thing is, for the viewers, it's like easy to see that this is a misplay, but playing in the tournament is completely different
Oh,
to
yeah,
playing in ladder. The pressure is on. It's very, very hard to make decisions. Like, I don't know, like you're playing with a teammate, both of you want to perform at your best, and it's just way more difficult to be decisive and make a good call.
Exactly.
And it's completely different if you're in the spectator mode where you see everything.
Yeah, of course.
Like, so everything feels so obvious.
Yeah, you can see all of the units that everybody has in their role. You can see how many workers they have. You can see how much income, etc., etc. So if you have God mode, then obviously the game plan becomes a lot more obvious. But when you're in the moment, it's much, much harder to make those calls. But guys, without further ado, we are into game number 3 of this Nova Cup series. So let's jump straight into the game.
Double Chaos. That's interesting. And we have Cartel and Slickins again.
Nice.
With Drachir being greedy over and over again. Like, picking greed, not sure like if the name fits the playstyle, but I like the classic greed. I still enjoy to see it from time to time. But I'm not sure if, like, Double Chaos is a great move, like, as a team.
I mean, it's risky, right? The double chaos for sure is risky. But if you get lucky with your chaos rolls, chaos is pretty much without a doubt the best builder. The thing is, you have to get lucky. Like, you need to get the right unit on the right wave. But if you do, then chaos is unstoppable.
Yeah, I just feel like with chaos, I think it's quite good on average. Yeah. But if you low roll and have no solution for a certain wave and are being saved on, it's quite nice if you can count on your mate that knows beforehand what units he's gonna be able to build to cover on the wave you expect to send.
Sure.
But if he's playing chaos as well, that makes it incredibly harder.
Yeah. Alright, so we have the aggressive 5-worker starts for both Slickins and Basti. I wonder if Slickins goes to 6 workers, actually, because he's playing Cartel. He does not, so he's playing it a little bit safer.
Yeah, I mean, he possibly is also playing it a bit safer because the early aggression for, I don't know, a big wave 3 send is not paying off that well against a Wildshroom start.
Yeah, that's very true, actually. Whereas a big wave 4 could be pretty heavily rewarded. Yeah. Now, Drachir does go for the snail here, and Basti is not adding. Bonny, sorry, is in the yellow lane. So this is going to be a 42% leak for Bonny, but it kind of looks bad on paper, but he can push 6 workers now for free. And he's going to have a ton of pressure on top of MrSlickins.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm not sure why he didn't add the atom.
I mean, leaking the Green Devil is kind of a double-edged sword, right? Because, like, sure, you make him leak 5 creeps, right? But now the wave is super long. Bonny has 6 workers. And Slickins, well, actually, Slickins is pretty good on wave 3.
The thing is, Bonny could have pushed them either way. But, yeah. And he would still leak with the atom, right?
Yeah.
Making the wave long, so he profits.
Yeah, true. Alright, but Bonny not really using his pressure to an advantage. He's only sending a DT, which I don't think is going to leak Slickins.
No.
So Slickins should be completely fine here.
But yeah, Basti's build is just, I don't know. I don't really like what I see. He has no tanks.
Yeah,
the Wildshroom is a DPS unit.
Basti's build is an interesting build.
Yeah, this is kind of low rolling with chaos, and I feel like he might need some cover.
He did just roll the Infiltrator though, which is very, very good on wave 4, and I do expect that to be the send. Now, Slickins, he can send a Dino. He can probably end up sending a couple of snails with the Dino as well if that's what he goes for.
Yeah, that's true.
Drachir, of course, easy hold there with the classic Berserker Oathbreaker combo. Very, very solid unit combo for the early game. And
also like
a Brute from Slickins.
I also really like that he's actually going for after he's seeing that opener and can afford the early aggression with Cartel.
Yeah, true. Now, Slickins on 7 workers, everybody else on 5 or 6. Basti does place down the Infiltrator as expected, and actually the Infiltrator can be very, very good if it gets on the Brute quickly.
Yeah, that's true, but what is he gonna add now? An Aqua and boost the Infiltrator? Or is he shifting for the Orchid?
Oh no, he adds the Aqua.
He adds it, but he does not boost.
This is 100 send now coming in at Basti's lane, but he has 415 value. The Brute goes straight on the Infiltrator, which is the best case scenario for Basti. The question is, will the Infiltrator start sniping out the Brute? And I think the answer is definitely yes, because it already is. And this is just looking perfect for Basti.
Fine. Yeah,
he's just holding,
also,
right? He's just easily holding.
Yeah, the Atom perfectly off-tanking.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Bonny's holding as well.
Yeah.
Or maybe leaking a Lizard? No, he full holds.
No, he's fine.
Oh, Basti just easily holding. Solid aggro there for Mr. Basti. Very, very solid.
Yeah, very, very well built. A build that looked very janky, just held perfectly.
Yeah. Just tied together perfectly by this one Infiltrator, really, but also the Aqua.
Yeah, also the Atom was tanking the Lizard the entire wave.
Yeah. It was perfect. Everything just completely perfect there for Basti. And that gives him 8 workers. That gives him pressure because he didn't have to send here on wave 5. And now Drachir and Slickins, they do go for the income resend, which actually might leak Basti. And by might, I mean it definitely will leak Basti.
Yep, it should.
Atten's just dying very, very quickly.
Yeah, but Bonny is easily holding here.
Yeah, Bonny's on like insane value. He has the Wanderer, he has the Green Devil. There's no way Bonny leaks this. But Basti, he is leaking. It's not even a small leak for Basti. It's a pretty respectable leak.
Oh yeah, that's pretty respectable. Fan.
Yeah. So Basti gets his +4 here.
Do you think we're gonna see a big 7 send from Bonny and Basti now?
Bonny and Basti against what Slickins and Drachir have. I mean, 7 looks amazing against Drachir, right? Slickins obviously has options. He has the Necromata. He has the Nightmare. Yeah. Now, obviously, Bonny and Basti don't know about the Nightmare yet, but they might just go for like, triple Brutes on 7.
Yeah. I mean, Drachir can also build a Harbinger, which is quite nice on 7. But if they go for triple Brutes, I see quite decent leaks on Drachir and MrSlickins.
And given how long these waves are lasting, it might not even be triple Brutes. We might start seeing things like Ogres and Mimics.
Oh, that would be crazy.
But they go for 6.
Oh, yeah. I think the wave was just too long.
The wave is lasting some amount of time.
Yeah,
and it's not over yet, because now Basti has to catch the leaks.
They already pushed and felt like, okay, the wave is just too long for us to save. And I mean, the sends are quite big already.
Yeah, I mean, there's double Brute from both of them. Bonny's even going to have another 20 after income. In fact, this Lizard's even going to the King. This wave is just about as long as it could possibly be.
It's pre-income. And after income another. Yeah, true.
Wow. Okay, so Drachir, he does get the Harbinger, which is very, very solid on wave 6, and he even has the Berserker as well. So I think if anybody has the chance to hold it is Drachir. Now, Slickins, that's another story. He has the Crusher, which is pretty bad on 6, and then all of his DPS is Pierce as well.
Slickins is not gonna do great here. I'm curious about this little Oathbreaker, if it's gonna have the perfect aggro.
I think it should tank 2, right?
I'm not sure. I think it's gonna tank 1. Yep, and it might just go absolutely crazy.
Yeah. But I think it needed to tank more than that, because now his Berserker dies super fast, and his Harbinger's getting full aggro here. It might not even get another summon.
Ooh.
It does. That summon is huge. He needed that. That was very, very close.
But I think don't think the Oathbreaker tanking more would have changed that much.
He's going to kill another one?
Oh, he got another one.
He got another one. Okay, so that's a +4 from Drachir, but Slickins...
that's a very big leak on Slickins.
Big leak from Slickins, yeah. Slickins going for the 93% leak there on wave 6. This is serious king damage.
I mean, the wave was so long, they just were not prepared to hold the center of this size.
These cents are enormous.
Drachir was overvalued last wave.
Yeah.
And he is strong here. He has a Zerker, he has a Harbinger. So
but that's 160 Mythium send on wave 6, right? Like, even when you're strong, the 160 is just an insane amount of Mythium to try and deal with on wave number 6.
Yeah, and it's just really, really hard to predict like that the wave is gonna be this slow. Like, it was just some mindless income send, which leaked Basti decently, but in the end, it really bit them in the ass to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they're down to 40%.
And now Bonny's on 13 workers, by the way. Wave 7, 13 workers.
Yeah, he's really going in for the kill.
Yeah.
I like the aggressive play.
And I think this is where Bonny and Basti play best, by the way. When they can get some kind of early advantage, I think they play very well from this position, because Bonny is just hyper aggressive when he's in this kind of seat. Like, as soon as he can smell blood, Bonny just pushes workers really, really hard and just keeps up that pressure. He never lets the enemy like have any breathing space. And this is just a perfect example of that. He's going to keep pushing workers, he's going to keep saving, and they're not going to send like pointless Mythium.
And I feel like that's the different level of experience. Like in the second game, I think it was too much pressure for Drachir and MrSlickins to realize they have to close out the game on wave 15.
Yeah.
And Bonny is just going in for the very, very aggressive playstyle to secure his lead.
Yeah, and Drachir and Slickins both go with their moles here on 8, but Bonny and Basti are pretty well suited to deal with that. Yeah, they have a Halo on Bonny, they have Bunk on Basti. I think these guys are going to be just fine. They have. It's going to take
ages for the Halo to focus the.
It's on it now. Oh no, it's not.
No, it was on the snail, and now it's
on it. But it did take a long time. You're right. And meanwhile, look at this: 220, 160 here. So the sends are just bigger coming out from Bonny and Basti, even though it's full income.
Yeah, true.
Bonny
and Slickins is leaking. Slickins is leaking the income.
Yeah, Bonny leaks 58% there to the mole and the snails. Slickins is doing okay. He did get bad focus there right at the end with the Nightmare attacking a full HP instead of a low HP.
He's doing okay. He's leaking slightly less, but it was just an income sent. And
it was just an income sent. Exactly.
Bonny is pushing to 15. Yeah.
And by the way, one thing else to point out, everything that we were saying last game about the castle and the cartel is still true here, because Slickins is on cartel, but he's lowest in power score. Which just means that as soon as wave 11 comes around, he's going to be completely out of the game. You cannot be like lowest power score on wave 8 when you're playing cartel. You just can't be in that position.
Yep. So it looks like he got on the struggle bus and forgot to get off.
Yeah. I mean, these guys, they might just be struggling after the last game, right? Like, if you lose a game that you were clearly winning, that's really going to knock your confidence. That is going to knock your confidence.
That's really a crushing feeling,
yeah. Like, I know if that was me, I would just be tilted out of my mind. And I think... I don't know. I'm not in the mind of these players. But I think they might be playing a bit kind of scared now.
Yeah, you're just less confident in your decision-making if you lose a game that was absolutely won.
Yeah. And now I feel like Bonny and Basti are just clearly ahead in this game. And I don't think that they will make that kind of mid to late game decision-making error that enabled them to win the previous game. You know?
Yep.
Because
I also think so.
It's just going to come down to that experience, right? Like, the new blood, they outplayed Bonny and Basti in both game 1 and 2 until wave 13 came around in game number 2. And there was that one crucial error from Drachir and Slickins that cost them game number 2. And I just think that Bonny and Basti, they're too experienced to make the same kind of error.
Yeah, I agree. Even though they're kind of washed right now, I still think they won't make this type of mistakes.
And they might even just straight up win the game here on 10. Like, I know Slickins has his doppelganger with lifesteal and APS, but he doesn't have any tanks really at all.
Yeah, but I'm unsure about the ogre into that.
The ogre's not great, but
it's just a huge sun.
Yeah, it's just a huge
sun. 280 sun.
And the Dark Mage dies as well, so he's not getting any value out of that 95 gold support unit. And his tanks just disintegrate to the ogre.
Yeah.
So he's
it
down
would have
to the
really
doppel.
been a very, very useful unit to keep alive with the double.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
More damage, more lifesteal.
And even without it, he's still nearly good with a 7 HP, dude. But this is just game, right?
It might be. I think it's very close.
Because Drachir's boss leaks on 34% HP. Now, sure, this one is going to die to a single attack, but there's a full HP ogre there as well.
Yeah. This is very close. Like, the first one is instantly dead, killing the ogre.
But the king then wastes an attack on the ogre, which it doesn't kill.
They do survive. It's very close.
Are you sure?
They do. They don't!
They don't!
And it's over!
I mean, wow. Wow, dude. This game was so one-sided. After Drachir and Slickins, played super, super well in games 1 and 2, I can't believe how one-sided this game was for Bonny and Basti.
And I mean, what a turnaround. This could have easily been a 2-0 for Drachir here and MrSlickins.
Look at this wave 6. This wave 6 just won the game for Bonny and Basti. Straight up 60% king damage on wave 6. I mean, while having the worker lead, while having the income lead.
Wave 5 was kind of the groundwork for that. And then on wave 6, the game was over.
Yeah, wave 5 was insane, actually, because it was just the longest wave in human history, with Basti leaking, and Slickins is Crusher 1v1ing against 5 Scorpions. It just took half an hour for him to clear that, and then Bonny had to clear the creeps in mid as well. That wave just lasted so long that they could send 160 each on 6, and that was just a crushing blow against Slickins and Drachir, which they never really recovered from.
Yeah. It's just incredible still to me that this could have been a 2-0 for Drachir and MrSlickins, and then one questionable decision and the very questionable full push from MrSlickins on Bonny just makes them lose to that one. And I can totally understand that their confidence is crushed after that, and then they just lose the next one.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was just.
But what a series, though! What a series!
It was a roller coaster of emotions for me.
Yeah, that was insane.
I can only assume, but I think the viewers had a lot of fun with this one as well.
Man, I don't know about the viewers, but I had a lot of fun. This was one of the most back and forth series I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, we saw some quality play in between as well. I feel like the second game showed a lot of detail about late game decision making.
Yeah.
And absolutely emotional roller coaster by the new blood crushing the old school players in the first game, crushing them in the second game as well, but giving it away, and then just everything being taken away from them in game 3.
I mean, that was just absolutely nuts. So, well played, Bonny and Basti. They do advance to the next stage of the tournament.